Hey everyone, it's time to pick out the favorite preseason pick for me in the NCAA. That's the Heisman Trophy winner. We go into this season with the favorite being Ohio State quarterback Braxton Miller. He had a great season last year, leading the Buckeyes to an undefeated record. But it's going to be interesting this year. They're going to have more pressure on them because they're going to be eligible for a bowl game. Last year, no one was talking about them because they didn't have to worry about playing in the postseason. They didn't have the pressure of, are they going to be able to beat an SEC team in the national championship game? That's what he's going to have to deal with this year. I don't like him to win it. And I'm going to talk about some other candidates before I get to a few of the guys I do like. We're going to start with last year's Heisman Trophy winner, and that was freshman quarterback Texas A&M's Johnny Manziel. Manziel's had an interesting offseason to say the least. He's been out partying with different women. He's been going to different basketball games. He even showed up in Toronto to see a Raptors game. This is a privileged kid who comes from a lavish lifestyle, so it's going to be interesting to see, is he motivated to prove himself again, or will he just be happy with the trophy he already has? I don't like that pick either at 15 to 1. Let's move now to the best defensive player in college football and the likely #1 pick in next April's NFL draft. And that is South Carolina's Jadeveon Clowney. The former #1 recruit is a monster on the defensive line. Quick first step to get past any offensive tackle and the power to push them back and bull rush them. We've all seen that hit on the Michigan running back 1,000 times when he dominated Taylor Lewin. And it's going to be interesting to see how good he can be. Really, if he wants to win the Heisman Trophy, you have to figure he needs to get at least a sack a game. And that's not going to be enough. 12 sacks will not be enough. He needs to get closer to 20. If he gets closer to 20, he's in the conversation. Because South Carolina is not good. They do not. Connor Shaw is not a good enough quarterback that this team will be playing in an SEC championship game, or even be in the discussion. This will still be a 9-3 type team in South Carolina. We move now to the top quarterbacks in next year's draft. First, we'll start with Louisville's Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater came on the scene late last year as he led Louisville to a bowl game victory. He's a 9-1 favorite, and he's an interesting play. The AAU is a weak conference, so he has the possibility to go undefeated, which will always help with the voters. The next question becomes, how good are his numbers? He's got a great receiver to throw to again, so he's a very good play. And of the guys with single-digit odds, he's the one I like the most. We move into the guys with odds ranging from 10 to 1 to 16 to 1 now, starting with A.J. McCarron, the Alabama quarterback. Is very, very good at taking care of the football. He's become more of a game manager and a guy who keeps getting better every single year he's been starting. I expect him to put up even better numbers this year, but I think when you look at it, his teammate TJ Yeldon is a 14 to 1 favorite compared to him at 10 to 1, and I think they're going to split the voters because Yeldon is explosive. He hits the hole hard and he's gone as soon as he hits it. He is instantly into the second level in the linebackers. And I think they're gonna split each other's votes. I don't like either of them to win the award. We're gonna move to the West Coast now, and the best player in the Pac-12, Marcus Mariota. The Oregon quarterback and Hawaii native is a good runner and passer, but I just don't think that he's gonna have enough to do it. I don't think Oregon can go through the entire season undefeated, so that's my biggest concern. And he also has a teammate at 16 to 1, DeAnthony Thomas, who is going to split his Heisman votes. Thomas is a returner, a running back, a receiver. He does it all. He's going to be scoring touchdowns in 4 different ways at least. He may even throw a touchdown and get him a 5th different way of scoring a touchdown. He's going to return a punt. He's going to return a kickoff. He could rush for a touchdown. He could catch a touchdown. He might even return a field goal for a touchdown if the coaching wants to put him out there. Let's go now to a quarter of the players in the teen range. This is the player I like the most, and that's Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. If he beats Alabama, there's your winner. If he makes it to the SEC championship, there's your winner. He could lead his team to the upset and a BCS national championship victory. We move now to Clemson quarterback Taj Boyd, the fourth-year player. He's in there just because he's put up big numbers in that offense, but I don't think he's got a shot at winning. I don't think he's a top 10 guy in the voting actually, but he's worth noting at 14-1. Now, we move to the Biletnikoff winner for this year for sure. That's Marquise Lee of USC. He was dominant last year. He surpassed Robert Lee as the best receiver on the team, and we saw Robert Lee go second round, I believe it was 46th overall to the Buffalo Bills, and you have to think Marquise Lee was a far better player last year. He could have a dominant season. He's going to be the number one target for their new starting quarterback. At 22-1, it's a long shot because wide receivers rarely get the votes they need to win the award. The most interesting player at the 20 to 20 plus range, in 20 to 30 range, is Taylor Martinez at 25-1. The Nebraska quarterback is a threat to pass and run the ball. His biggest problem is that he plays in a division where he's good at losing games. The Big Ten is going to be tough on him. I don't think that Nebraska is a 10-win team, and you're going to have to come close to 10 wins to win the award this year. I don't think 9-3 is going to do it. There are just too many good players out there. We move now to Baylor running back Laki Sedstruck. Sorry, I butchered that name. At 30-1, and the only reason we're mentioning him is because he said he's going to win the award. But the player on Baylor I like more to win the award is Bryce Petty, and Bodog does not have odds up on him, but I think he's big, strong, a little bit mobile. He could become the second quarterback to win the award. Nick Florence picked up big numbers after RG3's departure, and they are big-time offense and could average almost 400 yards a game. Now let's go to the redshirt freshman who wants to repeat Johnny Manziel's feat last year, and that's Jameis Winston. The Florida State quarterback is 35-1 favorite, and he's got a lot of good pieces around him, but he's going to have to win the ACC title and go undefeated to win this award. I just don't see him being able to do it if he doesn't win the ACC title. Now here's the very interesting name. That's Jordan Lynch. The Northern Illinois quarterback is 40-1 odds. It's a long shot, but he's going to put up huge numbers. The problem is he's playing in a non-BCS AQ school at Northern Illinois. He's playing in the MAC. Weaker competition, that will hurt him with the voters. So even though he could rush for theoretically 1,500 yards and throw for 3,000, he's not going to get the votes from across the nation. He's going to be hurt by voters in the southeastern part of the country who feel that the SEC is dominant and that he wouldn't last in the conference. Now we move into some players at 50-1 that really are extraordinary long shots, and odds of winning are very, very small. I don't like any of them to win. I just put them out there because it's a possibility. And that's first with UCLA quarterback Brett Hundley at 50-1. He's improved as he's going on. I think Jim Moore is a very good coach and puts him in a position to win. I like UCLA's odds this year being a very good team, but again, they're not going to win enough games to get Hundley the votes he needs. SEC quarterback Jeff Driscoll had a successful first season, but at times he had bad games where he'd disappear. If he wants to win, he can't disappear. And I think Florida could be a regression candidate. We'll see how they do, but I do like their head coach, so that's always a plus in my books. And now we'll go to Clemson wide receiver, return man, Sammy Watkins. The short but explosive Watkins can score multiple ways, like DeAnthony Thomas. He can return a ball for a touchdown at any time, and he could take a sweep for a touchdown, or he could catch a fade pass for a touchdown, just going blazing on the 9 route. Now we move into guys who Bodog does not have odds for, but I like these guys. We're going to start first with Texas quarterback David Ash. I think that this guy could legitimately rush for 1,000 yards and throw for 3,000. And best of all, the Big 12 is on weaker compared to the past when you had 3 teams inside the top 5, when you had Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Texas all tied for the division title that one year. And if they go undefeated, he will win the Heisman, because if he stays healthy, he is going to be a large part of it, because he can put up the numbers. He's just got to make sure that there's nobody questioning him and he's the definitive starter. Now let's move to Florida State, where James Wilder Jr., he's a big, strong, physical back. I think he could have an explosive sophomore year, and the only problem is he's going to split time with their freshman quarterback, Jameson Winston. So yes, he's not gonna have a good shot, but he could be an interesting play if you find odds for the Doak Walker Award. Let's move now to Texas Christian University and Casey Paschal. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Casey, but you're coming out of rehab and you're in a high-powered offense. I do like your chances. Yes, you likely only win 9 or 10 games, but I think you could put up 4,500 yards. Yes, I am predicting big numbers for Paschal. We've seen it. You do put up some big numbers before. I think you can repeat it if you've got your head on straight and focused on football. So those are my picks for the Heisman. If I have to rank them 1, 2, 3 of the guys I'd put money on, I'm going to go with David Ash and Bryce Petty as long shots. You can get long odds. Why not just take them and put $1 down? Maybe one of those guys hits and you get a nice return, and you're probably looking at least 50 to 1, maybe up to 100 to 1. But if there's someone else I'd want to look at to win, it would be Teddy Bridgewater followed by Aaron Murray. Both course. I'd likely go to Teddy Bridgewater because he's got the hype of being the #1 pick. Now sometimes that backfires and the voters expect more and the quarterback cannot deliver or fails to meet expectations with a few bad games. So it's a interesting thing to consider. But those are my Heisman picks. We'll see what happens when the voting concludes in December.